Good morning, everybody. Today is a working on the car day. Woo! Let's get these fuel injectors changed. Let's get the fuel filter changed. Hopefully that fixes it. I'm gonna also look into where like the O2 sensor is and the map sensor and stuff like that. Maybe I can clean them, make sure that the like wires aren't broken or anything like that. Give them like a once over, and then hopefully when we get everything back together, it'll be running like new. Maybe not like brand new, but like better than it is now. Keep getting a misfire on cylinder number 2. Constantly cylinder number 2. So hopefully this fixes it. Oh, and it should be mentioned that I have already changed out the spark plugs and the ignition coil and the ignition control module. So we are already ahead of the game here. All right, we're all set up. We're gonna be switching back and forth between this and the GoPro because I'll be able to put the GoPro like mounted here with the magnets. Is it starting to get foggy? It's super humid out today. But I'll be able to mount the GoPro up top and you guys will be able to see what's going on without me having my hands being used. I watched a YouTube video on this and they said to take the fuel pump fuse out first and then run the engine until it's all out of fuel so that there's no pressure in the fuel lines. So let's do that. Yeah, that was easy. Okay, here we go. The first step that we can do is probably like check to make sure that there's no pressure in the fuel lines. Here with this little bleeder valve, this is where you can check the pressure of your fuel pump. I don't know if you guys can see. Oh, and I guess you're upside down now. All right. Okay, here we go. First thing that we can do is we can check the pressure to make sure that there's no pressure built up in the fuel. Oh, great. Make sure there's no pressure built up in the fuel lines by checking this little pressure valve right here where you can check and see how much pressure your fuel pump is giving out. And there's nothing in there. There's no pressure on the fuel lines right now. So that's good. Here comes the hard part. I have to get this is the fuel rail. That's where all of the injectors are attached to. I have to get down to that. I got all this stuff in the way, so that ought to be fun. So I took off the airbox that runs to the throttle body. Then I'm going to take off this line here that just runs back to my overflow tank for my engine coolant, just to get it kind of out of the way as best I can, hopefully without breaking it. Now I'm going to remove these little clips here that are holding this piece of wire in place, just to kind of get it out of the way. Well, I guess I don't. That's actually the wire that runs to the fuel injector, so I don't need to get that detached just yet, or at all maybe. So now that everything's kind of out of the way, I should be able to just take these 2 bolts off and then kind of ease the fuel rail out, and then it should bend at this point right here and I'll be able to get to the fuel injectors. There's a lot of dirt down in there. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to kind of clean that out a little bit before I go too much further. Okay, I think that's kind of clean enough. Hopefully we won't get too much dirt down into the engine. So let's open it up, see what we got. So I took a quick break because the rain started coming in. I see blue skies, so that's good. So hopefully it's done raining for the time being and I can change out this fuel filter really quick. I'm underneath the car. I don't know how much of this changing out the fuel filter I'll be able to show you guys because there it is right there. I don't got very much room here and I need both hands. So I'm just gonna do this really quick. Yeah, I'll show you once it's done, once it's like in there. All right, new fuel filter installed. That may have been one of the harder things that I've ever done on a car because I'll show you on the old fuel filter what I had to deal with. So here's the old fuel filter, and as you can see, there's no easy way to get these little clips undone. So I just had to kind of break them. That's what I did. Just yanked it out, like made them so they kind of squished inside of there and then pulled it on out. The new one has a plastic clip on it, so it'll be easier to take out the next time that we do this. But yeah, there's the old fuel filter. So I have a little connection down here where the fuel injector's wires come back down, and I want to get that undone so that I can kind of flip this around this way. I have one more wire running down here that I need to undo. There it is, this little wire right here. So there they are. Those are my fuel injectors. I'm going to get a vacuum, clean that out, and go from there. Alright, fairly clean. Clean as an engine with 160,000 miles on it will get. Now, let's get to these guys. Which, yeah, I'd say they look pretty darn dirty. if you ask me. Just like a ton of sand in there. Let me go get a new injector and have a look at it. Yep, there it is. Pretty darn similar. So now I'm pulling off the old injectors and their wires. I'm guessing I have to pull off the wire first because it's kind of held in place. Oh, it's like a double locking action there. Wow, starting to get a cramp. Oh, it looks like it's gonna rain any second now too. The first one is out. Okay, we're on a roll now. So these little boots were around the fuel injector, so I gotta clean these out really good before I put them back in there, because they just like fill in the space here. So we're gonna use our gas-soaked rag to clean them up. I got an old cup, filled it with some gas. I'm kind of bathing them in the gas to get them all cleaned up, hopefully. All right, new fuel injectors are gonna go in. I'm gonna moisten up the O-rings here a little bit with a little bit of gas. Did not all of them come with new spring clips? Well, that's fun. Good thing I saved them. Okay, there's number one. These are all from the same company, but each one looks a little bit different. How much fun is that? And last but not least, number four. Look at that. The first one and the last one are the same, and then the middle two are different. I don't know why, but there it is. So funny, because they're all the same company, but for whatever reason, they are different. All right, now we just need to put our plugs back on. And there they are. So I put this rail back because it was kind of leaking everywhere. I'm going to move it out of the way, put some gas on here to kind of lube them up, and pop them back in place, and then we should be in business. I got to reattach this guy too. Don't let me forget that. All right, so now we can reattach this guy. Now we can reattach these two to each other, which were the controls for the fuel injectors, and then pop it back in its little retaining hole. Beautiful, everything good. Let's put these guys back in their place. Oh no, I forgot to get him inside of where he goes. There it goes. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Those are all attached. All the wires are attached. Wires are back in place. Right, this guy's reattached. This guy's reattached. Nothing else over here. Still good. A little bit loosey-goosey, but that's okay. This guy needs to get put back on, which this did end up tearing a little bit, so I hope that when the clamp gets back on there, it's not too much of a leak, because I think this is just a vacuum line, so that'll be okay. Hopefully, we'll see. If not, vacuum lines are cheap, and we can replace that. Alright, that's the whole engine back together. Now we need to move over to the fuel filter. Yay! Here goes the startup. Might take a little bit of time because there's no fuel back there. There it goes. Ooh, it's running so smooth and quiet right now. Just need to take it for a test run. I just realized I never finished talking to you guys after I did the car. It does run better. It's getting better gas mileage, like it is doing better. Still not 100% though. I didn't get to clean the sensors, which I will be doing soon. I haven't done it yet. I just don't know what's left to do, aside from like opening up the head cover and like checking to make sure that all my valve rockers and everything are like tightened down all the way. Which doesn't make any sense. Yeah, good times working on cars. It's running better though. I'm gonna keep at it though. Maybe next month I'll like try something else. Pretty soon I'm just gonna have an entirely new engine in there. Good times. I wasn't watching Tiny House Hunters, but I did fall asleep on the couch because I'm tired. So it's been 2 late nights in a row doing the Very Merry Christmas Party and then the Death Star thing at Epcot. So pretty darn exhausted. So I'm off to bed and I will see you guys tomorrow. And now it's time to pay the price.